Gratitude is a strategy and not just a vibe. When you look at a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they tend to be grateful and prioritize gratitude. Let's talk about why and how you can do this. The first thing is that gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Now hold up, I know some of you guys want to click out of this video just hearing those words, because to you, they don't really mean anything. They're just empty, hollow words and are just about a vibe. But let me really break down how this actually plays out in business. I remember being in a very specific market, providing services in a pretty small market where there was only so many people who were doing what I was doing. Despite not being the most popular service provider, I would never hesitate to tap others for opportunities. I literally had a list of people that I regularly would refer clients to. I would constantly go to my network and say, hey, there's this opportunity. Does anybody want it? And I noticed that there was one girl in particular who constantly would be the first to jump on an opportunity if you were to mention it. But when it came to her own business, she was holding on for dear life. When I tell you she was scarcity personified, she was gatekeeping, she would never tap you on the shoulder, she would never send anybody your way. And at first, honestly, this really annoyed me. It kind of pissed me off. Even if people don't use these words like abundance and scarcity, usually there's just the law of reciprocity, right? If you do something nice for somebody, they eventually do something nice for you. Or at the very least, aren't rude. And at this time, guys, I wasn't even practicing gratitude heavy, but I was planting the seeds of it. And one of those seeds, again, was this idea that there's enough pie for all of us to eat. But in this example, guys, you do not want to be her. You do not want to be scarcity personified, because a scarce mindset leads to scarce conditions. She easily could have been one of the people who was constantly tapping on the shoulders for opportunities. But after a while, I naturally shifted towards leaning on people who did business in a way that I did business, and who ultimately I felt reflected my values. Meaning there were 3 to 4 people who I easily sent half a dozen clients their way, easily. However, she's somebody that ultimately missed out on those opportunities. Keep in mind, she doesn't even know that she missed out. She doesn't even perceive it as being a loss to her business. And I'm in no way saying at all that she needed those referrals or that she needed that work. But ultimately, somebody like that might be sitting at home wondering why they're not getting more opportunities, why more work isn't coming their way, why they're not making more money, and not even realizing that, again, their scarcity mindset ultimately resulted in the conditions for less opportunities. The other thing is, when you approach things from a perspective of gratitude, you are leading from a more calm and centered perspective instead of a mindset that centers around lack and around scarcity. You're not constantly asking yourself, what's missing? How do I get more of this? And operating out of a place of just chaos and desperation. Instead, you're able to come at things with a more cool head. Just asking yourself that question of what's working instead of just focusing on what's not working and what's missing allows you to get a completely different perspective. For example, something that I've always told clients that I've worked with is to double down on what's working. But when you don't have a mindset that is grateful, it genuinely clouds your vision and it becomes difficult to even see what's working in your business and double down on it. You'll find that people who approach things from a scarcity mindset are often looking to frantically pivot, do something new. They'll have a million different service offerings. And that's not just a coincidence. It's because these different mindsets cause you to see things differently. And based on how you see things, the action that you take correlates to it. So if you constantly see something missing, you're going to constantly try and fill it with something. You're going to fill it with more offerings. You're going to fill it with more marketing. You're going to fill it with more whatever it might be, despite the fact that that might not be what you actually need. What you probably need is to just assess what's working and double down on it. And of course, there's burnout. If you are a business owner, if you are just a busybody person who has a lot going on, then you know that burnout is always looming, or maybe you've actually already experienced it. And one thing I always say is, if you are a solopreneur, if you are a service provider, who is running your business on your own, or maybe you just have the support of a couple of employees or contractors, you are your business, meaning burnout can completely wipe out your business. And I know people in my life who that's the case, very successful business owners. However, due to various issues, medical issues, and other stressors, they ultimately experienced burnout, which can put you in a position of even more stress because now you're experiencing financial stress. But Gratitude is an active way to fight against burnout, and it really helps you stay in the game longer because you are not obsessed with scaling your business and making more money from the mindset of scarcity and desperation. You can still be ambitious, you still have all of these goals, but you're more likely to be able to sustain momentum when doing the work because you're able to be grateful for where you are and not constantly put your self-worth on hitting the next goalpost, on hitting the next milestone. And again, I think there's this perspective that people who are grateful and practice gratitude are just like calm and sitting in a corner and don't have any rush and aren't ambitious. But again, that's not the case. Just the mindset around achieving goals and what success looks like tends to look very different for these sorts of people. And the reason why it looks different is because ultimately gratitude is a tool to help you reframe your conditions, reframe your mindset. It's not just this journal prompt that everybody thinks that it is. It's so much more than that. And again, no part of that requires just ignoring the bad things or ignoring the opportunities that are in front of you. And there's actually a lot of science behind this. I attended a workshop that was hosted by Harvard School of Public Health on resiliency and the actual science, the neuroscience behind it. And one of the things that they discussed was the fact that researchers have actually studied protective factors. These are things that literally protect you and allow you to be resilient in times of overwhelm, in times of stress. And there are individual, family, and community factors that exist. And these factors allow us to push up and push back in those hard times in order to be resilient, in order to have longevity. When I saw the list of individual factors, I just couldn't help but feel like so many of them intersect with being grateful, with having a mindset and a demeanor that positions you for being hopeful about the future and happy about where you are right now. So this isn't just my own thoughts. Again, this is science backed by researchers. And remember that gratitude or practicing gratitude doesn't need to look like for you what it looks like for everybody else. I know for me, a lot of the things that I see online about how to practice gratitude just don't resonate with me, and those aren't the things that I do. And that's completely okay because that's what works for me. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps with the algorithm, and I'll see you guys in the next video.